and welcome to Pure Food for Thought on the People Chronicles. Thank you for tuning in. This is a very special episode. I'm in a special outfit. My guest is in a special outfit. We're here at the Kutztown Folk Festival, and I met Tina Sams. I'm sorry.
That's okay.
At the Kutztown Folk Festival. She has a wonderful booth.
Thanks.
And your business is called?
The Essential Herbal.
And you can find it at?
www.essentialherbal.com.
And I'm so glad she could join us today for this episode of Pure Food for Thought. So, Tina.
Yes.
Each episode always begins with the same question. What would you like people to learn from your journey as they hear it today?
Well, I would say that never think it's too late to start something new, and never wait until it's perfect, because it never will be. So you just, not to be all night, but you know, it's just do it. Just start and work out the kinks as you go along.
Did you start your business falling on your face a few times?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, well, when I started the magazine, Marianne and my sister and I had been in business, and we had a shop, and I had left town for a while, and I came back, and we didn't have the business anymore, and I went to work at a printer, and I really missed my persona, or who I thought I was. So while I was at the printer, I decided I would start this newsletter, which was what it was at the time. And I didn't need to make any money on it, because that wasn't really the point, but I needed it to pay for itself. And that's exactly what it did for the first 2 years. I trained myself on all the equipment, and I would, if it cost an extra ounce to ship, and I didn't have that money to ship that, then I would take it over to the guillotine cutter, and I would shave it off until it was, and I learned a lot, and so it really is my baby, but it was certainly not perfect. I didn't have a logo, I didn't have a website. Of course, that was 14 years ago. Most people didn't, but I just did it.
And you weren't waiting for the perfect logo, the perfect font,
right?
Or to find someone else to do it for you,
right?
You did it yourself.
Yeah.
Where did you learn that philosophy?
Well, my mom she had 5 of us, and our father left, and she wanted to be home with us. So she started a business. Actually, she had a couple businesses in the home. She had an answering service, and then she also had a group of older women who would babysit, because she found that the people that she answered the phone for were like doctors and lawyers and stuff, and they didn't have babysitters. So then she'd schedule them, and so that was the way it was. We learned, and it was really by the seat of her pants, completely by the seat of her pants. So that's how we did it.
You have a special.
Thank you.
This is the upside of being at the festival.
Yeah.
It's all of the good food.
Yeah.
So it was something that you learned from your mom. It was kind of a gift, really, that your mom gave
I think so.
The children in the family, and you and your sister ran with it.
Yeah.
So do you feel like, what are some of the questions, especially because you're so successful at what you do, there are probably a lot of women that come to you and say, what could I do differently, or how can I be as successful as you are, or what am I doing wrong, or what do I need to do that's right?
Well, I think that it's really important. I think entrepreneurship is the thing. I don't think that there are going to be enough jobs, and I don't think it has to do with, it's computers. It's, the world's changing. So we need to do our own thing, but we really need to do stuff that we care enough about that maybe we won't get paid for a year. And maybe, I kind of feel like when men go into business, they take loans, they get paid, they make sure that, and women, we don't necessarily do that. And then when the rewards come, they're real.
Right.
And if you're doing something you love, then I don't necessarily believe that if you love it, money will follow.
Yes.
Because I've done lots of things I loved, and
those are part of the mistakes you learned from,
work.
right? Yeah. Those are part of the mistakes. Yeah.
Yeah. But each of those things actually does then then when you do something else, it's like, well, I know how to do
Yes.
this.
Yeah.
I know how to do mailing because of that thing that didn't work out, and I know how to do, so.
And you probably find, or when you hear other women's stories, that waiting for it to be just right really holds you back from a lot of opportunities.
I think that we can make a million excuses.
Yes.
And it is scary. It's scary to start. Well, honestly, it isn't for me. I always figure, hey, if I fail, I fail. I really do. I don't go into debt. I don't.
Yes.
I mean, I don't even have a credit card. I haven't used a credit card for 10 years because if I don't have the money, I don't buy it. But that's not a judgment on anybody else. That's just the way I do it.
Yeah.
And so I'm not afraid to fail because I'm not taking bigger risks than, just like when I started the magazine. If I didn't have the money, I made it smaller.
Yes.
And then
because a lot of people wouldn't have thought to trim that down. As silly
Right.
as it sounds, a lot of people might not think to take this step not to trim it down.
Yeah.
Or
I'm
not to
pretty cheap.
overspend, because little bits really
Well, that
do
was
add
only
up.
like $20 probably.
Yeah.
I mean, the additional shipping for that small quantity of subscribers that I started with was probably $20. But I had made that commitment that I was not going to spend, because I was taking care of Molly. It was me and my daughter, and I wasn't going to take money from her for that business. So,
So it really comes down to setting priorities, taking risks, and then not waiting, of course, till everything is exactly right or exactly perfect. What, with your business and your studies in your herbal studies, do you feel like you probably transform people's lives, though, too? I mean, is that part of the passion of loving what you do?
Yeah, I do. I mean, and that sounds kind of big-headed, but there's so many times, because I do a lot of social media, and for years I've had a Yahoo group, and there are so many people that I see who have become lifelong friends. I feel like I'm a hub.
Yes.
And so they meet each other because of, and it might be business people or whatever, and I just love that. And a lot of times they don't remember where they met each other.
Yeah.
And I don't care.
Yeah, because it's all about connecting.
Yeah.
Connecting people. And that share the same passion for the same topic. And you're all about wellness.
Yeah, pretty
For the most
much.
part.
Yeah,
It's all
yeah.
about balance, but you
Right.
really are about wellness, I think. When you're teaching people to forage for their food, or that they can forage for their food, it's still bringing people back to Mother Earth.
Right.
Instead of boxed.
I want them
foods.
to know where it came from.
Right.
I think we all need to. It's kind of scary. Like Jamie Oliver's working with kids that don't know a vegetable, and and they're walking over them on their way to school, and that's not their fault. But their parents don't know either. But it's only been 50 years.
Right.
So yeah, I think that we need to know that.
So what do they call? Oh, a homesteader. So you're still kind of like a modern day homesteader.
Well, we do live on a farm, and I'm not great with vegetables. I'm good with wild stuff, and apparently this year it turns out I'm a prodigy with fruit.
Really?
Well, I moved there like 7 years ago, and I started putting in perennial fruit plants. And this year, to get ready for this festival, I'm like out there every morning, in my jammies.
Yeah.
And my freezer's just full of fruit because I couldn't do anything. We were busy getting ready for this.
Oh, and freezing it. We did that with our raspberries, too.
Yeah, raspberries.
Yes, with the berries, yes. I think that when someone comes into your booth, I imagine that when someone reads your books, they can see that you like to collect resources and connect people, like you say that you do in the Yahoo groups and online and social media, because everything is a collection.
Yes, almost everything. I've only written a few things that were strictly my own.
You have those great little pamphlet books, the smaller books. But it's nice to see that you collaborate, that you do take the risks. That's how the
magazine worked.
Yeah.
I still can't pay writers. But I know that they're business people, and so 90% of the time they have a business, and it's valuable for them to be in front of the community, and it's valuable to be shown as real, and they know what they're doing.
Yes.
So hopefully that works. And also, a lot of writers have gone on then to write for more
Bigger.
professional tones, you know.
Well, that's wonderful, because I think a lot of times when people want to start a project and you think it has to be exactly right and just perfect, and it has to have the logo or the images or the perfect photography, that it really does hold you back. And it's okay to collaborate with other like-minded people, because it doesn't hurt to help everybody out. I mean, everybody benefits working that way.
Yeah.
So it's just a really great example of your business practice.
Because we aren't real difficult to work with. I mean, we don't ask them to, you know, follow specific English, you know, we'll edit it. We'll take care of that. And it gives people the courage then to submit something.
Yeah.
Sometimes I really hound people. You know, like, you really should be writing for me. Just write something. I'll help you out. And then that, as time goes on, then later I'll see them write for someone else, and I'll think.
That's so wonderful. Yeah, because they took that risk.
Right.
So your philosophy sounds like exactly what you said. Take the risk. Don't wait until tomorrow to get it done.
Right.
Or those raspberries would have been, or berries would have been rotting on the vine.
Yep.
Now they're in your freezer when you go home. And it's okay to collaborate and take risks, take chances, and don't wait for things to be exactly perfect.
And if you don't, taking risk, it kind of has to be calculated. You know, don't go way into debt, but the risk has to be with your heart, not with your wallet. It's like kind of, you know.
I think those are some very valuable lessons that people can learn from. So thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Yeah, that was a lot of fun, and I appreciate that you joined me on this episode. So make sure to find Tina's page at
essentialherbal.com.
theessentialherbal.com.
Just
essentialherbal.com.
Yeah.
And you can find her books. You can find your books and subscribe to the online magazine, and it becomes in a PDF or print. So be sure to check that out, and make sure to come out to the Kutztown Folk Festival in 2016 and stop by the booth.
Yep.
So thank you so much for tuning in, and you can find me at the People Chronicles, Pure Food for Thought. Please subscribe, and we'll catch you in the next episode. Thanks for tuning in.
Want to know more about who's doing what in Berks County? Check out the stories on thepeoplechronicles.com.